Thank you. What a lovely way to begin. Thank you, Phyllis. Good morning, everyone. My name is Patricia, and I will be your service leader today. Welcome to Unity of Bloomington. At Unity, we offer practical spiritual teachings that empower abundant and meaningful living. We are a center for spiritual growth, and we provide inspiration, tools, and practices that support people on their path of spiritual growth. Please stand and join us in combining our voices in joyful song.
To be
Please remain standing and join me in affirming our statement of being. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe, God, the good, omnipotent. This power expresses life, love, wisdom, and abundance through me. In it, I live and move and have my being. Please be seated. One way we empower abundant and meaningful living is by practicing and living our 5 basic principles. I will state the principle and invite you to respond with the affirmation. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. God is. I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and everyone. I am. I create my experiences by what I think, feel, do, and believe. I create. Through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. I pray. I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. I live. I now invite Joni up for our moment with the children.
No age-wise children, but I'm sure there's one of you that would come up here with me. I'm pretty sure. Joyce Oden, because Joyce Oden, I actually want to talk about you today. And this just reminded me. Nope, that's not what it was. I was cruising, we're talking about will. This month, the power to choose, commit, and be willing. And last week, Ginger talked about choosing with Ella and the rest of us. And today I'm going to talk about committing. But what I enjoyed just before I came over here flipping through Facebook was you having chosen a dream. You did what you needed to do. Now, I don't know how committed you are to putting that corn out there, but you got prepared. You want to tell everybody what you were doing?
Well, I've already thought of a reason I can't do it, but
I'm going to talk about that too.
Okay, so I love to tell stories. She shouldn't have got me started. I have always had a dream. Well, actually, in 4th grade, my class made friends with a crow. We were like on the 2nd story, and the crow would come in and come to the window ledge, and we would give it like shiny things and corn and whatnot. But it would talk to us. I think it actually could talk. That isn't necessarily a false memory, because turns out crows can talk, and they're very intelligent. But anyway, so my dog recently went to live with my son for the winter in Indianapolis, and obviously I'm kind of missing my dog. So I've had this corn in my refrigerator, corn on the cob. It was going bad, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it out there and see, because I heard some crows, if I can get a crow to come and make friends with me. Now, because I was going to wait till I was retired to do it, my son has already asked me not to tell anybody this. Because I think I told him something else at the same time. I wanted to make friends with a crow. I can't remember, but the other one was even weirder. So that's it. And
he said, please don't tell anyone
yeah.
you wanted to be friends with the crow.
Yeah, because there was actually something else. I can't think of it right now, but I'm kind of nervous all of a sudden now that I realize what I've done. But the only problem is I am a member of Audubon, etc., and you guys all know we're not supposed to be feeding the birds right now. So I guess I do have to wait.
I think we'll have to get more advice on that. I think that's about stuff where they mull around on the ground, stuff. There's certain places. Anyway, you certainly will have chipmunks.
I know. I'll probably attract.
And I'm sure, Joyce, there's a way that you could make friends with a
Oh, and
grappa.
I put a fake crow out there too at the same time.
Okay, well, you've got lots of it done. So,
Enough about me.
no, that's exactly what we're talking about. And the first question I was going to ask is, have you ever wanted to do something really bad and then found out it didn't go quite as smoothly as you thought it would? Thought you had everything in place, had it all planned out, and you get a little kink in the road. Well, when we're talking about commitment, we're talking about following through even when it gets tough or when it stops being fun. So can you think of something that you committed to because you really wanted to be good at what you were doing?
I've committed to learning about the computer before.
Well, you made a pretty big commitment to be a teacher, didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Are you good at that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. Yes. And that takes some effort.
Of preschoolers, only, not
That-
adults or.
Preschoolers are the most important bunch, in my opinion. So, have you ever tried to learn a musical instrument?
Yes, I was a failure at that too.
Joyce, you're not a failure. You just lost interest.
No, I didn't.
You don't talk to preschoolers like this, do you?
No, I really, no.
Okay.
I had a lot
All
of
right.
fun with my goal. It was just to play drums.
Okay, all right.
Turned out I can't clap and count or any of that.
All right, we're going to move on to the end of this story. Committing is working through something that is difficult. When you do that, it's called persistence. And persistence means that when you face a challenge, you keep going because you know what you want and you want to succeed. And an affirmation for that is, say it with me, I'll tell you and then you repeat it. I persist with optimism and enthusiasm.
I persist with optimism and enthusiasm.
And to help you, I wear one of these because guess what? This is one of my issues, so I got you one too.
Thank you.
So put that on and now you'll have crows in your house.
Yes.
Does it say?
Persistence.
Persistence.
Joyce, you are our future. Phyllis. You are the future, and we love you. You are the future, and we honor you. You are the future, and we lift you up. You are the future, you're divine.
This year, Unity's annual theme is how to stay centered no matter what. Each month, we explore the role that one of the 12 powers plays in staying centered and experiencing inner peace no matter what is occurring around us. This month, we are exploring the power of will. Spiritual will brings clarity and direction. It affords a new way forward, a new path to fulfillment. The power of will sustains each of us as we pursue our divine purpose. We are committed and resolute, bypassing distractions and disregarding desires that would lead us astray. Divine will directs us to devote our energies to practices that carry us forward as we focus on our goal. We are focused and flexible, determined but not dogmatic. Attuned to the flow of spirit, we can be willing and open to the path ahead with a clear sense of purpose and direction. The power of will enables us to choose each step, knowing that our highest good is unfolding. We are grateful that this power of will guides us onward and upward, and so we affirm this month, I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. Please join me in claiming this truth as our own. Together, I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. And this is time for announcements, and I believe our Richard Torstrick has some.
Yes, I have one. We have called a congregational meeting for 2 weeks from today. That is August 22nd at noon. And our tech folks will be working to see that we can do a hybrid meeting in the age of COVID. We have some great news, and it's involving the solar energy project that we have been working on trying to get available to Unity of Bloomington. And, you know, we've been in the weeds on this for at least 6 months because we were unclear whether we could get variances that we needed, whether the project had engineering viability. And just this week, all of that came together. And just so you know, the timeline for doing a project in terms of getting the most benefit is fairly urgent, which is why we've called a meeting in 2 weeks. It is a major financial commitment, of course, which means the congregation will need to yay, nay, so you can get your questions in, if you will. We will be posting information on the website with actual not artists, but computer renderings of what a Unity of Bloomington would look like with this, and some of the financial details involved. So mark your calendars. Congregational meeting August 22nd at 12 noon. And again, we'll be trying to do a hybrid meeting so you can be in the room or you can be at home online and participating in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. The word for today is protected. The affirmation is, through my oneness with God, I feel protected. From the Daily Word journey, my life's journey begins and ends in the heart of God. I feel excitement at the beginning of a journey, thinking about the adventures, the beautiful sights, and the fascinating people I will find at my journey's end. Even as I look forward to reaching my destination, however, I remain alert, open to the adventures and insights that await discovery along the way. My faith tells me that my spiritual journey began in the heart of God long before my human birth. In childhood, I looked outward, longing for the adventures that would become waypoints on my journey to maturity. Now I journey inward, longing for the spiritual home I never really left. I am learning that even the most ordinary day can become an opportunity to realize that the heart of God is present everywhere. From Psalm 121:8, the Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore. Now we'll join together in speaking the affirmation aloud. Together. Through my oneness with God, I feel protected. And now repeat it silently to yourself. The Christ presence within is my radiant source of good. The Christ presence within is my radiant source of good. Our speaker today is Joni Reagan. Our Unity music team will now provide our musical inspiration.
Say he had wisdom, there was always some peace in his walk. When I was a child with a taste and blind ambition, we'd sit on his front porch and talk about powerful cars, about the power of money, and the power that just can't be bought. He'd send me on my way, and the last thing he would say to me was, don't wish your life away, don't wish your life away, take it as it comes, and make yourself wish your life away. Don't throw miracles away. One day I made him laugh when I said my time was wasted, just working enough to get by. He said, all that you desire is so close that you can taste it, and the only time you're wasting is mine. Put your faith in your dreams and not in your possessions, and let your spirit learn how to fly. And just in case you haven't noticed, we aren't getting any younger, so look me in the eye when I say, don't wish your life away. Don't wish your life away. Take it as it comes and make yourself for someone, whatever you do. Don't wish your life away. Don't wish your life away. Don't throw miracles away. I treasured our time like family in the spirit till destiny took us apart. We never said goodbye, but I always will remember, 'cause I took it to my heart when he said, don't wish your life away. Don't wish your life away. Take it as it comes and make yourself for someone, whatever you do. Don't wish your life away. Don't wish your life away. Don't throw miracles away. One of these days you're gonna see. Yes, indeed. Oh, take life as you find it and make yourself for someone, whatever you do. Don't wish your life away. Don't wish your life away. Don't throw miracles away.
And that is the message. That is the message, but I think they expect me to do a little bit more. Hopefully, I won't do too much more. Joyce, oh, did you? Thank you. There is nothing kinder than helping out your buddy who has a brain for a squirrel cage and things didn't turn out the way they expected. So thank you for putting yourself out there. And Ginger, Betsy, Penny, Phyllis, always able to do anything that I ask. And I am so grateful to have that opportunity to work in a setting with people like that. Oh, and that was the song. And that's a flower. Okay, I think most of you recognize this. The Wizard of Oz, the story of Dorothy and her journey with the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man to find the wonderful wizard who could grant them their desires. When they arrived in Oz, Good Witch Glinda tells Dorothy to follow the yellow brick road to Emerald City. She can ask the Wizard of Oz to help her, and on her journey, Dorothy meets a Scarecrow who wishes that he had a brain, a Tin Woodman who wishes he had a heart, and a Cowardly Lion who wished he only had the courage. After a long journey and lots of adventures with the Wicked Witch, they finally return to the wizard, who gives the Scarecrow a diploma, gives the Lion a medal, and the Tin Man a ticking heart-shaped clock to show them that they already had all of those qualities inside them. They didn't need anybody to award it to them. And this pretend wizard, offers to take Dorothy and Toto home in his hot air balloon. And when he does that, he's of course revealing that he's also from Kansas. And as they're preparing to load up and go, Toto jumps out. Dorothy chases Toto. The balloon flies away. But fortunately, Good Witch Glinda reappears and tells Dorothy, "You've always had the power to go home. You've always had the power to go home." Like Dorothy and the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Woodman, we also have that power within us to manifest as divine mind. Absolute good, everywhere present. Joy, harmony, peace, prosperity, and other things that sometimes we can't even imagine in our current state of consciousness. And like these characters, in order to bring those qualities out, we require challenges in which our spiritual power is needed. And we also require a burning desire to do that for a reason. The lion, the scarecrow, and the lion found their courage and their heart and their wisdom to protect Dorothy. And when their services and skills were needed, they took the opportunity. So Winifred Hausman wrote about this quite a long time ago, and she tells us clearly that our work here is to awaken the divine powers with which God has endowed us. Not to wait till they come, not to buy them, but to awaken those powers. This is what we're used to seeing when we talk about the powers. There's the color, silver, the disciple that's associated, and I spent quite a long time trying to figure out exactly why each disciple, where's Ginger? Why each disciple was picked for each power. But I got very confused doing that research. So I was hoping Ginger might have some information about Charles Fillmore's brain on that. So, and this is our affirmation. I use my power of will to choose, commit, and to be willing. Center of our brain. So this is, most of us are familiar with. We're also familiar with this, written out this way. Will is my ability to be willing. And then this shows us denials and affirmations, which Charles thought was a very important part of awakening our spiritual power, to release the old ways and make room for the new ones, and to affirm that we are open and receptive. So these depictions have served us well. I actually went back and started reading daily words from 1920 that were related to will. I couldn't tell much difference in them from now to then, and that was comforting to me. As our visual and media awareness changes, sometimes these older presentations don't ring a bell with younger folks or with people who are very immersed in digital media. So I found that to be true in my practice, that I can just barely keep up with things that will hold their attention for more than 3 seconds. And that looking at a slideshow or listening to me talk is not one of them. So I was intrigued when I saw this. This is a project by Tracy Lau, who is an elementary art teacher, a watercolor artist, and a Unity Metaphysics student. And she was taking an SEE class. She became interested, taking a deeper look at the 12 powers, and as a way to explore them, one of her instructors suggested she use her skills to illustrate the powers. So she did, and she did this set of cards. They're called Rise Into Your Power. There are 4 cards for each power. What I'm showing you here is the front of the card and the 4 affirmations that come with those cards for will. That is very cool. If you haven't seen them, please feel free to take a look at mine. Last week, Ginger introduced us again to the concept of sense consciousness. I seem to need this all the time. Sense consciousness has the ability to have us do the opposite of what we wish to do with our will, as opposed to the positive aspects. I will admit that I have been described as willful. I know that's a surprise to everyone. I've also been described as wrong-headed. I'm not going to cop to that, but I am persistent on some things. So Paul Hasselbeck is the one who pulled all of this stuff together, but Imelda Shanklin, who is featured in his metaphysics book, tells us that perception is knowledge gained through our senses. Your mind will accept the reports of your senses until you have trained it to distinguish between permanence and impermanence. Yes, so how do we do that? The Buddha tells us that all beings, all objects, everything in human life, whether in the heavenly realm, the hellish realm, or the earthly realm, is always changing, inconstant, undergoes birth, rebirth, and redeath. Permanence is found in our unity teachings, which are based on universal spiritual principles that run like a thread through all the world's religions. These are the laws that seem to govern mankind. And no matter where you live, how you view the divine, or even if you're aware of these principles, they still function. They're still permanent. So we also talked a little bit about the God mind, our higher consciousness, and there was an interesting discussion in here about superconscious, subconscious, and conscious. So my description of these things is that the superconscious is our higher ideals and our truth principles, and we obtain those through our intuitive knowing, our direct knowing. A couple of examples. I've had this happen 3 times in my life only, and I'm pretty old. So the first time was when someone told me, I didn't know what to do when I went to school. I said, "You're a social worker." I don't know what's that. I went to my first social work class, and I walked out and said, "Hey, I'm a social worker." Yeah, that's me, and that is me. You might notice that's my primary identity most of the time. The second time I experienced that was when I came to Unity, where I wasn't quite sure it was like a church, but I felt pretty good here. I knew that this is where I belonged. And that was a strong, supportive feeling for me. Other time is when I met Lynn. Took her a little longer to get there, but I knew it from the get-go. And so far, she hasn't gotten away. So through our senses, we experience the physical world. We may experience them consciously or unconsciously. Mostly, we do it unconsciously. Our thinking and behaviors are driven by our subconscious, often without us even knowing what the source is. Myrtle Fillmore tells us in How to Help God, Let God Help You, think from the truth standpoint when you think about the outer world. It is by your spiritual thinking that you build up your spiritual consciousness. And eventually, we don't become perfect, but eventually we begin to manifest our spiritual thinking prior to acting or reacting on an old habit or core belief or unhealthy behavior. So what is the Christ consciousness? The universal ideal of eternal life, ever-present wisdom, and all that is good. Our will is for that stuff to fill the earth and for us to do our part to make it happen. When we did the Divine Audacity book, I got to admit, I enjoyed that more than any book study we've had here, because I thought she had a lot of practical information and a lot of ways to understand what was going on. Ginger talked pretty well about the choosing power. I'm going to talk a little bit about committing. Once I have chosen one possibility out of all the many possibilities, I commit to that path. I'm deliberate. And I do things that make that path possible. Commitment places me on a particular path that leads me not to random action, but to deliberate, intentional action. Now, I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist. One of the things I love about Unity is that it's like perfectly dovetails with cognitive behavioral therapy. So I also use lots of resources, and when I was looking at the components of will, choice, commitment, and willingness, I found this in an article written by a social worker, talking about characteristics that are required to strengthen your will. When Lynn asked me to speak today, and I realized what we were talking about, I felt kind of silly. I felt like of all the people in our church, who is the example of willpower? Not me. Because I have some difficulties, and I'm going to talk to them. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I do some of these things really good. I do some of these things really good in lots of areas of my life. There are a couple areas of my life where I forget what I'm doing, and I can still change that. But I feel like we're all in that condition. There are parts of this that we do really well, and parts that we struggle a little bit. So I'm going to talk about the parts that are required. So desire is about being able to make a choice. I don't know how many of you remember Jill Bolte Taylor coming here and doing the Myers-Briggs tests, but I'll give you a shortcut on this. I am an INFP. There aren't very many of us, and we are pretty flexible. Not that we change our mind, just that we see new opportunities all the time. So it is sometimes hard to keep on track. We notice that when we're going to dinner. But the ability to choose. Now, in terms of my work, I've been excellent at choosing what I want to accomplish in my work. I could be better, but I feel very good about what I do and what I've learned to be able to do it. In terms of confidence, I was born like a normal child. But I gained confidence pretty early because I was in a company of my Uncle Steve, who was 4 years older than me, and he had to babysit me all the time. And he was active, and everything Stevie did, I did. And Steve practiced on me for all the things he wanted to learn. Here, run down, put that up there so I can shoot at it. Okay. Here, get down like you're going to tackle me in football. Boom, knock me down. This went on until I was about 12. So that coupled with being the oldest of 5 children, I was the youngest of 5 children and the oldest of 5 children, kind of simultaneously. So confidence has never been an issue for me. And sometimes I get in over my head with confidence, but I'm always confident that I'll know what to do about it. And that has been a blessing. In terms of ability, that's part of the confidence. I have I'm not saying this right. Confidence and ability both fit with being willing. Can you feel willing to do what you need to do to be able to accomplish something? Whether that's bringing somebody with you, or taking a class, or coming up with some kind of routine that helps you do it, or backing off and learning a little slower. So the thing I really have trouble with, you might guess, is perseverance. And I was going to talk a little bit about why that happens with me, but that's not really necessary. I'll just acknowledge I have a hard time staying on track. Now, the reason we have PowerPoint slides here, instead of me just wandering around talking, is because at least I have to do something related to these slides, and it keeps me from going off on a huge tangent. People laugh at me about my PowerPoint slides, and that's okay. I think they prefer them to what they would get otherwise. So persistence is the part that I'm working on. And I have been able to do this lots of times in my life, where I was successful persisting through things I didn't enjoy, through health challenges, through school. I worked full time all the way through my master's degree. 12 years, actually. I worked 12 years to finish my master's degree. Worked since I was 12 years old. I haven't missed a day of work when I wasn't in the hospital and recovering since I was about 14. I have the ability to commit and persevere. I can persevere if somebody needs me. But I'm easily knocked off the block. I have a chronic condition called being other-directed. And that's another talk. So I'm going to flip through this because this is fast. I didn't even bring those up, I'm sorry. How do we know when we are in God's will? Can't say that word, but I did practice this one, so I'm saying it. Muheli Csikszentmihalyi wrote The Power of Optimal Experience, Psychology of Optimal Experience. He talks about being in the flow. When we are living our spiritual principles, we are in the flow. We feel peace. We feel good. Everything is perfect. We feel like we have everything we need. When we're not, when we are anxious, worried, overwhelmed, not feeling so good, that's a sign to us that we aren't. Enoch Eswaran, I apologize for not saying his name correctly, tells us that our will does not grow weak simply through neglect. We attack it also, usually through every absurd little self-indulgence. A bite of this, a drink of that, an unkind word, an unnecessary complaint, and we attack our perseverance and our ability to commit to a course of action. Health psychologist Kelly McGonigal gives us some hope with that by telling us that practicing mindfulness meditation for a few minutes each day actually boosts your ability to have willpower by building up the gray matter in areas of your brain that regulate emotions and that govern decision-making. She also says that paying attention to what's happening in the moment, what's going on in your body, your mind, and all around you can make it easier to tune into the choices you make several hundred times a day when it comes to food, activities, YouTube, work, friendship, what you're doing. If we just pause a moment and think about it, and we are mindful, we will change how we respond, and eventually we will have habits of responding as spiritual beings, as well as having human responses. And the spiritual ones, it's going to take a long time, I think, for all of us to get rid of the human ones, but we're going to be able to pull from them equally when we pause. This last slide seems a little harsh, but it goes along with the mission of this message. Wishing is having a desire, but not following through with the commitment or being willing to do the things necessary to accomplish your goals. Wishing is unlikely to result in major changes, but willingness and commitment ensure that changes are made. If not externally in the way you want, they certainly will impact you internally, because we become better when we practice. When we use our spiritual power to choose, commit, and willingly act, the process of our work and outcome will be in line with our highest consciousness. The music team prepare us for meditation.
to the living Spirit of truth. I am open, my heart is open to the living Spirit of truth. I am open, I am open, my heart is open to love. I am open, I am open, my heart is open.
As we continue into meditation, I invite you to take some deep belly breaths, to settle comfortably in your chair, and if you wish, close your eyes. And you may choose to use these words as your own. My power of choice helps me to stand strong and resilient when I feel challenged. I am able to respect the preferences of others while maintaining my own healthy boundaries. I make decisions grounded in truth principles, and I expect them to unfold perfectly. I notice and appreciate the synchronicities and sacred moments that are filled with the unmistakable presence of God. As I understand that divine intelligence is within me, I am able to make choices that are wise and which work for good in my life. I come to realize that God's will is perfect love and includes the fruits of that love for each of us. I can then learn to say, as Jesus did, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done," with joy and confidence. Aligning myself with the highest and the best, the divine will within me, I am incredibly blessed. And I'll speak an affirmation you may want to repeat to yourself in the silence. I move forward with confidence as I consciously choose each step on my path. I move forward with confidence as I confidently choose each step on my path.
Turn to the spiritual practice of generosity. We are grateful for the many ways this center supports us in our spiritual growth, and we in turn are happy to support this center with our financial contributions and our voluntary service. We are also grateful to those who have already put into place automatic weekly, monthly, or quarterly giving. Today, if you feel led to give, visit our website at unityofbloomington.org and click the giving link. And if you brought a tithe or love offering with you this morning, we invite you to place it in the singing bowl at the back of the chapel on your way out after the service. The singing bowl is also where you can leave your prayer requests. You will find the prayer request card in the pocket of the seat in front of you. Join me now in speaking aloud our abundance affirmation. Together, I am an abundant being living in an abundant universe. God is the source of my supply. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
God is the source of all I see.
God is the source of all I see.
God is the source in me.
God is the source in me.
God is the light in which I'm seeing.
God is the light in which I'm seeing.
God is the light in me.
God is the light in me.
God is the mind that I am thinking.
God is the mind that I am thinking.
God is the mind in me.
God is the mind in me.
God is the source and God is the light.
God is the source and God is the light.
God is the mind in me.
God is the mind in me.
God is the source of all I see.
God is the source of all I see.
God is the source in me.
God is the source in me.
God is the light in which I'm seeing.
God is the light in which I'm seeing.
God is the light in me.
God is the light in me.
God is the mind that I am thinking.
God is the mind that I am thinking.
God is the mind in me.
God is the mind in me.
God is the source and God is the light.
God is the source and God is the light.
God is the mind in me. God is the mind in me.
We bless our abundance with these words. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I would like to invite you to stand now and join with me in saying our closing prayer. Together, we are here to glow as the light of God. We are the light of God. We are here to embrace as the love of God. We are the love of God. We are here to stand in truth as the power of God. We are the power of God. We are here to radiate as the presence of God. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. In gratitude for our radiant health, please remain in place and join us in singing together, "Let There Be Peace on Earth."